Today, we'll be designing and making a blooming flower art piece with a laser cutter. In a software called Rhinoceros, I start by drawing a circle with a 10-inch diameter. Now, I'm drawing reference lines and circles which will be my guide for developing the base pattern of the project. We'll turn them off or delete them when we're done. With the reference lines drawn, I start designing the base pattern on the layer that I'll be using for laser cutting. I'm using the line tool and starting one point of the line where the guidelines overlap. It always starts as simple lines and a general idea of what shapes I want to create when I duplicate the pattern around the circle. With this project, I decided to curve all of the lines by offsetting the original one 1/16 of an inch and connecting the endpoints of one with the center point of the other. When the initial pattern is complete, I select the lines for the pattern, add it to a block, and use the erase circle command to duplicate it around the shape. The result looks really nice, but I had to clean up the overlapping lines. All we need to do is double-click one of the blocks and modify, add, or delete any of the lines within it. When I'm done, I click OK and the pattern updates around the entire circle. When I'm satisfied with the pattern, I copy it over, delete all the blocks except one, and create a new block. We need to add thickness to each of these lines so that we can laser cut it. To do that, I go into one of the blocks and use the offset command. I click the lines and easily create a copy to one side or both. I'm offsetting each line by 1/16 of an inch. This is going to be the top layer, and when we're done, we'll create wider patterns for each layer below. When all the lines are offset, I delete the original ones, select the entire pattern, and use the trim tool to clean up all the overlapping lines. My goal is to be able to cut out all the smaller shapes so that the overall pattern becomes the focal point of the project. With one layer complete, the next step is to create the layered effect. To do this, I joined all the lines together and used the offset command to copy each shape at 1/16 of an inch smaller than the original one. Then, I delete the original shapes and repeat this until I have 3 layers. At the end of this process, this is what every layer looks like. To check the design, I use the extrude command to pull each layer into 3D. I use the move command to bring every layer together. I also added a clear blue acrylic layer at the bottom to see how it would work with the pattern. This is how the 3D model looks when it's complete. I decided to leave out the acrylic layer. Now it's time to start the exciting part. I bring over my 1/8" EcoBirch plywood and mask it with paper tape to protect the surface from scorches and burns from the laser. I insert a sheet into my laser cutter and start the process of cutting this project. Whenever I feel stuck or uncreative with my projects, I love going on long walks around my neighborhood or the cities where I'm traveling and looking at everything around me. One of those things is usually flowers and plants. There's a lot of beautiful patterns that we can find in the things around us, and this blooming flower art is an example of it. Each of the layers looks like a beautiful work of art on its own. Watching every line being laser cut is exciting, and I'm sure someone can start an art shop that sells layered art pieces like this one. For this blooming flower art project, it took a total of 40 minutes to cut all the layers. Once I have all of the layers, I bring them over to my work table and remove the paper masking tape from each piece. I start the assembly process by putting all of the layers side by side in the order that they should be stacked. I flip over the middle layer, bring over my MaxiCure superglue, and apply it on the shapes that go around the entire design. Now, I align this middle layer with the bottom one and use the shapes as a guide before pressing down to attach the pieces together. We're ready to move on to the last layer. I flip the top layer over and apply glue along the center of each line. I flip the panel over so that the glue side is facing down, align the shapes of the panel with the shapes of the layers below, and push down to attach them together. With that, this blooming flower art project is complete. This product is mesmerizing to look at with all the curved lines and offset layers that seems to draw your eyes towards the center of the pattern. It's a product that would look great hanging on any wall in your home. If you enjoyed this project, check out my other woodcraft videos and consider subscribing. I'll see you again next week.